This is a general plant update for April 2026. So as you can see, things are looking nice down here. Starting off with the woolly sundews. I have been struggling a lot with the other sundews that I had before, Ordensis and Paradoxa. Their care is pretty similar, but what I learned and what I've been told is that woolly sundews don't really like to get their crowns wet and stay waterlogged all the time. And here's the propagation for the Drosera petiolaris. I got impressed by this because when I unpotted this, it has like long tap roots. And then another thing is that this is the mother plant. It's kind of struggling because I kept it all wet all the time. Another thing, this unknown pygmy sundew that got mixed up with the C. Jamesii is finally blooming. Look at that. I'm gonna have to ID that later. And this trio pot of Paradoxus got some aphids on it, which I tried to remedy with some like dunking them in water, submerging them in water, and then brushing off the remaining ones. Another update is that I finally cut off the flower stalk for that Drosera binata that I grow, because turns out it's not self-fertile. It's not the self-fertile kind. And then what's left? I recently I noticed that the capillary sundews are struggling, so I repotted them. And then what I learned from that, I think, is I've been giving them too much water recently. So that probably contributed to some rot, but they've bounced back since then. They're very easy to come back from stress. Lastly, this Drosera binata that I got from a grower in San Pablo. Since it flowered, they kind of died back. The flower just didn't make it. So one of the things that I think I learned is that when you get a new plant, especially Drosera binata, they really can't sustain that flower for the first few months. You have to give them like a year of growth. So I suggest you trim it if it's new. Another thing is that I finally divided the Shenrons and I got 2 plants. Where's the other one? Oh, here. Those are the 2 plants, and this is the mother plant. And this is the one I grew from like a pulling like a couple months or several months ago. And as you can see, the natural divisions are bigger. That one is not. It's smaller. Another thing, hold on. Look at those. Those are flowering nicely. Let me think of something else to talk about. Oh yeah. I don't know if I ever said it, but a month ago I decided to keep the bigger Sarracenias in the fridge along with those smaller 2, just so I could give them a proper dormancy. Now I only gave them a month because what I learned is that when a plant that never got a proper dormancy did have a full dormancy, they tend to rot or something, maybe because they're not used to it. Also, it's kind of springtime. There's been a lot of flies and wasps that the Droseras and the Venus flytraps have been catching. Also the Sarracenias, they've been catching a lot of those. Another thing is this beautiful flower is a weed, and I'm gonna keep it because I want more flowers and more color in this garden. It's made seeds and I already spread it. What else? There's a chance that this may be native because this came in with the sphagnum moss that I bought, which were taken from the mountain province, unfortunately. But one way to remedy that is the use of sphagnum moss, as I made a tub of sphagnum moss that I'm trying to grow. Anyway, so I've found out that there is a native population of this, and I'm gonna have to look it up and see if this is one of the native ones, because if so, that's gonna be great. What else? Hold on. Another thing with the Nepenthes is that they're starting to root and they're starting to make new leaves, like this one. This is a graciliflora. This one is a Gracilis typical black, because as I've heard, there's like kind of other varieties of black that's been going around. And then this is another Graciliflora hybrid, I think. This is a growth point that I took. Oh no, never mind. This is like a top vine, and this is it's just one stick that I cut in half. So this is the top, and that's one the end of it. And then the Nepenthes ampullaria that I was given, still not picturing. The primulifloras are growing nicely. I put them in this shaded spot. As you can see, there's a net shade for this, because this is where I put the low light plants like these Auricularias. I've been selling a lot of those. They've been very popular. And this is the tub I'm talking about for the sphagnum moss. So I finally cracked the code on how to grow them. Basically, as I've said, those sphagnum moss that I've used are taken from the mountain province. You just have to, if they're not treated with heat, you can just wet them again and they'll revive. But they will only live if you keep them in a dark place, like netted, because the sun here in the Philippines is very, very hot, and they don't like that. They also can't take the intense sun rays. So I'm keeping them shaded. Maybe once they're acclimated, I'll put them somewhere a little bit sunnier, like maybe that spot, just so he can grow stronger and faster, I guess. But I'll have to check. If they get hurt by that, then I'll probably just bring them back here. Also, I'm using this as a propagation place for the leaf pullings and the sundews. Because another thing about woolly sundews that I've come to learn is that, well, except for Paradoxa, they don't like being propagated in floating water. Like, they don't like to be floating in water while being propagated. They never grow any growth points. I've only seen one grow some root for the Ordensis, but the rest started to strike after I put them on top of a moss. Yeah, they don't really like moving around when they're being propagated, or maybe they also just don't like a lot of water, because that's what I've been told. They like to keep it a bit dry. So yeah. Also divided some heterocephalus, those things. Their flowers lasts longer when they're on the shade. When they're out in the sun, they flower a lot, but they die quickly. Oh yeah, another thing, I got some Stylidium debiles from that mother pot. I found them growing on the sides, not like root bound or something. What else? Oh yeah, the pinguiculas from that rock. I decided to sell some of them and then transferred them inside because it's very hot in here. Let me think of something more to talk about. Oh yeah, another thing. I've noticed that this Brigshana pot has been very constantly wet for all of the time. And I checked the pot and unfortunately I forgot that like half of this was just pure sphagnum moss, so there's not a lot of drainage. And that made the plant struggle with making more roots. So I found the roots and they're very small. Unlike for this one, that the roots are much more developed. Well, granted, this is a faster growing species than this because this has like low AI on it, so it's slower. Anyway, I doubt it's gonna continue picturing these small ones because anytime you touch the roots of this plant, they just don't make pictures. That's because of the ventricosas, I've been told. Anyway, another update is with the Rosianas that I've also been struggling. So the thing about the sundays I'm struggling at is probably watering and keeping the soil aerated. In their previous spot, they're on the peat moss and perlite mix. So I've noticed that they're taking up so much humic acid from that. So I decided to keep them in a sphagnum moss and perlite, and they're doing good actually. They're finally thriving. Another thing is I've been selling a lot of plants. Maybe if I've documented it like in the previous video, I have like a lot of mature paradoxus, but I've since traded them with some more pinguiculas which sell better actually. It's from Sir Needs Fartan from Name My Traps. That's his page. Now it was supposed to arrive like this day, but I told him that to ship the plants on Thursday because I'm not really available to pick them up on the weekdays because I'm on OJT, and the best day for him to ship it out is on Thursday. So by Friday or at least Saturday, when the parcel arrives in like 1 to 2 days, or at the very max is 3 days, I will be here to pick them up and set them up on some of those spots and then put them inside where I grow the rest of the pinks. So yeah, I'm gonna be producing more pinks in the future and like make money out of them because I really need some for schools and stuff. It's getting very expensive. I don't know what else to talk about. The Cayenne Venus flytrap is still struggling. It never grew well for me, but I've seen some US growers like Matt from Venus flytrap store, I think his shop was. They have Cayennes and they're growing majestically. Maybe it's just a particularly weak plant, like a weak clone. I don't know. We'll find out. Maybe. So yeah, I think that's all the updates that I have to give. That's all. So today is April 14th, and this two of my oldest Nepenthes has officially made a flower stalk, but unfortunately I can't cross them because they're both males. But here's what I noticed instead. So the leaf that was covering the flower stalks have much thicker bases like that. Same with this one. You can see it. See, compare that to here and here. Those guys are very thin, and also they make like little offshoots on the side of the flower as the next vines that's gonna sprawl out. But there's always, it seems like there's always one major vine and always one smaller. But Yeah, that's all.